سلام، اینجا ریزموج هست. مهمان من در این قسمت جورجا پیتروپائولی است، نویسنده، روزنامه‌نگار و فعال فرهنگی از ایتالیا. او از زنانی است که برای بازتاب صدای زنان افغانستان تلاش می‌کند، چی از طریق نوشتن و چی از طریق ترجمه آثار نویسندگان زن افغانستان. تاکنون 2 کتاب را از فارسی به ایتالیایی ترجمه کرده و اخیراً نیز کتابی منتشر کرده که به طور ویژه متمرکز بر افغانستان است. گفتگویی که در ادامه میشنوید به زبان انگلیسی انجام و ضبط شده است. Today we are honored to host Giorgia Pietropaoli, an Italian writer, investigative journalist, researcher, and cultural activist from Rome. She studied classical literature as well as Persian language and literature and earned her PhD in political science. As a journalist and researcher, her work has focused on human rights, women's voices, and cultural narratives. She recently translated and edited the Italian edition of Words from Exile by Sumaya Ramesh, and she has also published her own investigative essay titled Afghanistan, a country where everything changes so nothing changes. Thank you so much, Giorgia, for joining me today. Can you tell us more about yourself, your journey, and I would also love to know what drew you toward Persian literature.
First of all, I'm really happy for your invitation. I'm really happy to be here with you. And it's a honor for me. I'm Italian, but I'm really fond of your culture. I love really much your culture. I love Afghanistan literature. I love Persian literature anyway. And I know that in this moment, Afghanistan needs to be highlighted to international community. Mostly I am a professor. I'm currently teaching literature, Italian literature, ancient Greek literature, Latin literature. But I studied Persian literature too at university, and I started to study Farsi. So my interest for your culture grew up. And for some reason, I started to be interested more and more to your history, especially the history of these past years. And I noticed that international attention is not so good in relating about your story and human rights and what is happening since the Taliban came. And I had a very important person in my life, and she is a very important intellectual, Afghan intellectual. I met Sumaya Ramesh some years ago, and we started not only to be friends, but to be to follow the same path, to give attention to the situation of Afghanistan. But I started. Sorry, maybe you wanted to tell me something.
I just want to say that you seem to move between literature and politics in your work, and you studied politics.
Yeah, I studied political science too. So, and I'm currently even writing for a very important international news magazine. And I started to open the window on Middle East and on Afghanistan, because this international magazine was focused on the African matters, and now we have an open eye to Middle East situation and Afghanistan situation. And I was telling to you, I started to be more close to your culture. I started to translate something of your poems, especially your poems. And so I started to publish in Italy books that Italian people, they don't even know that exist. So I wanted to highlight the situation of Afghanistan, but especially to highlight that Afghan people they are not only Talibans. You have a great culture behind you. And you are, of course, you are victim of a terrible regime. I wrote a lot about the regime and the violation of human rights in your country. But I wanted to highlight that you have a great country and you are literate and you have a great culture and you are fighters. You are not only victims, you are great fighters for your right. And when I started, for example, reading Ashte Sob, because a friend of mine, he was a teacher some years ago in Herat, he said to me, oh, look at this magazine. They are doing great. And I started to follow you and your great work of journalist. And I say to myself, I want that international community know what they are doing. They are great journalists. They are great person that they are still fighting for their rights, even in this evil situation. And mostly I started to write, and I published a few months ago this book. You can see it.
Yeah.
This book, and it's all related to the last 4 years, for 5 years now, almost 5 years now, since 2021, because we in our Western countries, we don't know much about you. And so what I wanted to do is to show to people what is happening, what they are doing, what is their real life. And I collected a lot of stories.
That's very important. It's a powerful point, I think. I would love to shift and hear about your recent work, the book that you showed for me.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
this,
really interesting in many ways for me, especially its title, Afghanistan, a country
yeah,
where everything changes for nothing changed. What
yeah.
inspired you to write this book, and from what perspective or framework did you approach Afghanistan while writing it?
It always started from a personal story, because I had a friend, this friend that suggested me of your work. He was a very important professor in Iraq, and for 1 year I lost completely him. I didn't know where he was. I didn't know what happened to him, and I couldn't ask to no one because I was afraid to put his family in a dangerous situation, in danger. So for 1 year, I really was going crazy because I didn't know. And he was threatened by Taliban several times. And I had another close friend in the same moment, and he was telling me, he was a journalist, a very important journalist in your country. And he was telling me, I can't even work anymore because Taliban are threatening me. So my heart was really full of sadness for this situation. And I was trying to do something. What can I do for this country? What can I do for these people? I have only a weapon. My weapon is my pen. I have only this. I can put my words in a book and try to help them, highlighting the situation. And I'm so happy because this book was published only in the last days of January in this year. And yet we have a very big audience. It's a book that is spreading, and I went even to Italian government to present this book because they invited me, because they were interested in what happened in your country. Till now, no one was speaking about your country in Italy. So what I want to do is to put even government here and in Europe in the situation of doing something for your country. In next month, I will go even to European Union, to Brussels, and they invited me. And in Brussels too, I want to talk freely and speak of what is happening in your country, why Western countries are totally forget to help you. We betrayed you. We betrayed you. We left you alone. Not me personally, of course, not humanitarian organization. I know a lot of organizations, they are even now they are doing their best to help you, but your situation is really, really too hard. The word can be silent because, yeah, I know there are a lot of wars in this moment. There is the war between USA and Iran. There are a lot of wars in Africa too. But your situation is lasting too much. And you are without any human rights. The situation of women is unbelievable. How can a woman can be treated like that? You are suffering of gender apartheid. And I want that you know that now we know. And I want that Afghan women know that we are doing our best to help you. We are not forgetting you. We are talking about you. And I want that this link between women worldwide be all day by day will be close, because together we can do something. I think that is that my position, I am living in a free world. I am living in a free democratic country, but I want that you have your free democratic country. I can't think that I'm free and you are not. If you are not free, I'm not free as well. So together we can do something. And I strongly believe in that. I hope that you agree with me.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That actually brings me to the next question. You believe the literature change the world perspective against Afghanistan, especially women in Afghanistan. What do you think? As we discussed earlier, Afghanistan women are often portrayed as silent or as objects, and as you mentioned, they portrayed as victims. Do you think literature can help change this narrative, and how this change may happen?
I strongly believe that literature can help, and education, knowledge is the base, they are pillars to change the world, and especially the opinion that the world have about you. And I want to show, this is one of the book I publish, is Symphony for Peace. And I want to show the back. Look, it's a woman with her words, with the hijab that is going away. She's free. And all these words, I strongly believe that literature, that communication, that poetry, even poetry, can change the narrative of Afghan women. I know that you are strongly fighting for your rights. You were teachers, you were doctors, you were lawyers, you were journalists, you were a lot of singers, you were simply housewife. But why the world have to think about you as you are victims? Why? You are not only victims, you are real person that fight every day for their rights, that fight every day for their life. And yes, I don't believe that violence could lead to a change. What can lead to a effective change is how you use your words, because that's why Talibans are closing school, because in school you can think, you can say your opinion, you can understand. They closed the school because education, because literature is more powerful than a gun. And as Somaya Ramesh said, load your poems like guns. You have to load your poems. Your poetry is more powerful than anything. That's why I published these 2 books of poems, of Afghan poems, because through these words, people understand that you are, what are you feeling? They understand that you are not only victims, yes, you are, of course you are, but you can take your pen and write your future. Your future is in your words. And our conversation is the testimony, is testifying that through the words, we can really change the world.
Since you mentioned Somaya Ramesh works,
Yeah.
I'm really eager to ask you about your work on Words from Exile by Somaya Ramesh
Yeah.
that you translated in
Did it?
Italy.
Yeah.
And what did you find especially powerful or unique in her writing? And what made you feel that this was a voice or perspective that needed to be translated and introduced to Italian readers?
You know, when I first read Somaya, I was deeply touched from her words. And I was deeply touched even from her style. She's so contemporary, even if she has a great tradition of poems, an ancient tradition of poems, but she was so contemporary. And I was a bit shocked because I was uh, often thinking that, yes, the old Afghan tradition, just like you are not modern and contemporary. And she showed me, look, I'm a contemporary woman. Look how I'm writing. And I compared her poems to the biggest poems of every times. I think she did great for you, for all your country, because this book is not only about her personal situation in exile, but she highlighted the harsh situation of women in Afghanistan. And especially when I mentioned before, Lord poems like Guns, she highlighted the real situation and what can change the narrative of Afghanistan. Only the most precise words, and only poems, and only beauty of words can change the narrative, because women and all the Afghan people, you are in a very terrible situation. You are under a terrible regime, but you are not only the victims. You are strong warriors that trying to change the narrative. You are trying to gain your freedom, and you are people not only under the Taliban regime, but you are full of culture, full of art, full of all the beauty that Western country must understand. So Afghanistan is not only Taliban's, is not only a terrible life. Afghanistan could be the country of young people, of art, of culture, of literature. That's what we must highlight. And of course, we must talk about the harsh situation you are facing, the poverty, a country that is destroyed by a wrong politics, and a country that is facing the most hard situation ever, the country in which fathers are selling their children to have food, but even the country in which people are trying to have a life, to fight for their life, to fight for their freedom. And yeah, Sumaya Ramish, she did great, underlining all that through a contemporary poetry, because she has your tradition in her shoulder, but she's facing to the future. I love her style. I really love the way she proposed your situation without any how can I say, without going around. She goes straight to the point.
I really like what you said about, yeah, words are powerful. And I'm really glad you have chosen women voices to represent Afghanistan. That itself is a message. Building on that, after working on these two books, how do you personally understand the idea of being a woman in Afghanistan, or the idea of exile?
I know a lot of people now are in exile, and I know they are suffering a lot. But I know that these people in exile, they don't forget people who are inside, and they are doing a lot for people that are remaining inside. Being in exile is something really sad. And even if they are now living in Western country, for example, I know they are really suffering and they are dreaming of going back to Afghanistan. And I hope they can come back, because Afghanistan needs their best brains. Now, the best people of Afghanistan, they went in exile. And this is not good for a country, being without the people who can rebuild again the democratic process. What you need is to be able to choose your government. I wish you that you can regain your freedom and start to build day by day a democratic process in which women and men could work together to give to your son, to your kids, a good future. I really believe that you deserve to decide for your future. This Taliban regime is not possible to have. I'm sure that this Taliban regime will end very soon, because they don't have the capacities, the abilities to go on. They are destroying your country. They are totally destroying. There is no Western politics. There is no politics for people inside, not for people outside. There is no politics. They are destroying economy. They are destroying everything. How can they last? How many years they could last? I think they will end very soon. But I hope that after this regime, you are in the condition of rebuild your country freely.
That's so true. So, as a final question, what message would you like to share with Afghanistan women, both inside and who are living outside the country?
What can I say to you? I'm here, and my aim is to build a link with you, because together we can do more. We can do more. And my message is, you are not alone. No one is neglecting you. No one is forgetting you. I'm trying to highlight your situation. I'm trying to put the attention of politics and literature on you. And I'm just trying to be a sister that is fighting for her sisters. That's it. I strongly believe in the women sisterhood, and we have to go on in this leading road of sisterhood, because we can do a lot together.
Thank you so much for being here, Giorgia. I really appreciate your time. It was really a great pleasure for me personally, and I'm really happy meeting you.
I'm so happy, Fatima, because you are doing really a great job. You are really going on, even in, I know, in very difficult situation. You started and you continue to fight for your right. That's it. We must fight for our right, never surrender, even if I know that this situation is not easy, but never surrender. I hope that you are free one day. چی میگم؟ امیدوارم که زن زندگی آزادی که کار نان آزادی they will be very soon for you. به امید آزادی.
به امید آزادی.